Welcome to Online Math. Today we will look at equations with a repeated unknown. Let's take a look at this equation together. We have 2d plus 3d minus 1 within the bracket equals to 7. So as you can see, there are two d's. So this is an example of an equation that shows you a repeated unknown. So how do we solve a question like this? Here are the steps that you need to take. Number 1, if necessary, expand any brackets and collect like terms. Number 2, if necessary, remove the unknown from one side of the equation. Remember to balance the other side. And number 3, use inverse operations to isolate the unknown and solve the equation. So let's get started. We first see that there is a bracket, so we will expand the bracket first. In order to expand the bracket, we need to times. So we keep the 2d as it is, and times 3 to d, so that's going to give us 3d. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 equals to 7. Then we need to collect like terms. Like terms would be the d's. So 2d plus 3d equals to 5d. Negative 3 equals to 7. We don't have to do number 2 with this equation because we have d on one side of the equation only. So we'll skip and do number 3. Use inverse operations to isolate the unknown and solve the equation. So the inverse of negative 3 is plus 3. So we have to plus 3 on both sides. Negative 3 plus 3 is equal to 0, so they cancel, leaving us with just a 5d on the left-hand side. So write 5d, equals sign moves down. 7 plus 3 on the right-hand side equals to 10. We're almost there. We now need to get rid of the 5 that is in front of d. 5d means 5 times d. So the inverse of 5 times is to divide by 5. So then you would divide both sides by 5. 5 over 5 is equal to 1. So you can cross it out. And now you have 1d, which I'm going to write just d. On the right-hand side, I have 10 over 5, which is 10 divided by 5, so it is 2. d equals to 2 would be the answer. Now let's take a look at the practice questions together. Number 1, we have an equation that says 2x plus 3x equals to 10. The 2x and the 3x here are like terms, so we will collect them. 2x plus 3x gives us 5x equals to 10. Now, we will have to use an inverse to get rid of the 5 so that we're isolating x. The inverse of 5 times is to divide by 5, so we will divide both sides by 5. On the left-hand side, 5 over 5 is equal to 1. So we can cross out the 5s, and that leaves us with just x on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, we have 10 over 5, which is 10 divided by 5, and that is 2. Number 2, we have an equation that says 3x minus 6 minus 2x plus 7 equals to 16. We have the x's, and we have the constant terms. So we will collect the like terms. 3x minus 2x. So I'm just going to rewrite them next to each other. And we have minus 6 plus 7. And that equals to 16. 3x minus 2x is 1x. So I'm going to write just x. And negative 6 plus 7 is plus 1, and that equals to 16. To isolate the x, I need to get rid of the positive 1, the plus 1, and so the inverse of plus 1 is minus 1. So plus 1 minus 1 becomes 0, so we cancel it out, leaving us with just x on the left-hand side and the 15 on the right. So x is equal to 15. Question number 3, we have 4y minus 9 plus 2y minus 5 equals to 4. So let's start by collecting the like terms, which are the y's in this case. So we have 4y plus 2y, and the constant terms, minus 9 minus 5 equals to 4. 4y plus 2y gives you 6y. Negative 9 minus 5 is negative 14, and that equals to 4. To isolate the y, we first need to get rid of the negative 14 by using an inverse operation. So the inverse of negative 14 is plus 14, so you would plus 14 on both sides. Negative 14 plus 14 equals to 0, so cancel out. And that just leaves me with 6y on the left-hand side. On the right, it is 18. 6y equals to 18. 6y means 6 times y, so the inverse of 6 times is divide by 6. So you would divide both sides by 6. 6 over 6 is 1. So you can cross it out. You're left with the y on the left-hand side. On the right, you have 18 over 6. So 18 divided by 6 is 3. So y is equal to 3. Number 4. The equation is 7x plus 2 times x plus 1 within the bracket, and that equals to 38. So we first need to expand the bracket. And to do that, we're going to times 2 to the x and plus 1 inside the bracket. So first, keep 7x as it is, plus 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times positive 1 is positive 2, and that equals to 38. Let's collect the like terms. We have 7x plus 2x, so that equals to 9x plus 2 equals to 38. We need to isolate the x, and for us to do that, we first need to get rid of the plus 2. The inverse of plus 2 is to minus 2, so we have to minus 2 on both sides of the equation. Plus 2 minus 2 is 0, so cancel it out. That leaves us with 9x alone on the left-hand side. Equal sign drops down. 38 minus 2 equals to 36. 9x equals to 36. 9x means 9 times x, so the inverse of 9 times is to divide by 9. So now you need to divide both sides by 9 to isolate the x. On the left, you have 9 over 9, and that equals to 1. So cross it out, and you're left with x on the left-hand side. On the right, you have 36 divided by 9, and that is equal to 4. So x equals to 4. Thanks for watching. See you next time.